that you kind of bring to the table when you've got that breach. But generally speaking, I like the breach when it's paired up a little bit more with the neon. We do see Son of Car playing the Raze. I do think that Son of Car is a fairly good Raze player, excuse me. And so it's going to be really interesting to see, once again, how they deal with getting through all of these smokes. Because, you know, you see the Viper, you know exactly how this one is going to be going down. The Vise, there's so many walls all over this map. A lot of tools to really stall out Nightblood Gaming.
Well, initial feel out will be over towards B. C's trying to be combined with the paint shells. Doesn't really go as intended, but not the worst news ever. You slow down the initial approach, and now you've got Nightblood at least searching for information over towards A. Going to do the same thing by putting some feelers out with prowlers and smokes to C, but this will be some sort of an A execute. And honestly, Jerwin is in a pretty solid spot to sneak forward here.
Yeah, what I'm more interested in is right now Screwface kind of getting caught off guard. We'll have to make that cross across, but Nightblood Gaming, they should be able to more or less walk in. Just a lot of utility, kind of stalling the players out, allowing SAD Esports to get set up for this.
Oh, yeah, off screen, Jerwin. See Screwface literally just walking it down. Nice paranoia to allow Shondex to try to play alongside Welly, and yeah, SAD Esports have gotten a complete read on this. Essentially, I mean, that is almost the definition of fully flawless. Only a little bit of damage tallied under Welly. Everyone else pretty much full health, so really strong start for SAD.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk about that initiation. It just didn't seem like it was there. I do say that SAD Esports really use their utility extremely effectively. Oh, looks like you want to go on B site? Would be a shame if there was a season and aid. Oh no. And then as soon as they kind of go onto this A site, a lot of stall utility gets used to try and force them backwards. And it's such awkward pacing from Nightblood to be able to enter in on these sites. And if I'm being honest, I'm expecting that's how a lot of these defensive rounds are going to go for SAD.
Yeah, probably. We'll see what we get in this round, as it's a quick hit for Nightblood right on forward through the toxic screen. Prowler to check out Mini. That pushes Jawa off just a touch, and actually they're going to force this fight. You hear all the footsteps coming through. Paranoia followed up by a flash, and the right click for Son of Car is going to work out. Shondex trying to hold the angle and does so beautifully. A little extra damage onto Noted has him pushed off, and now it's on to Jerwin. Well, I was going to say to try to watch the cross on the other side towards A, but no commitment yet, and honestly, Nightblood's going to find an opportunity to get the spike down today.
And Note able to grab the Guardian. Being able to plant the spike is a great way to kind of start this one off, but very low HP for all their members.
First shot lands. Stepping up a little bit now is Noted. Screwface is still playing very far behind us. They're just going to leave the Outlaw over towards drop. You saw the idea. See if you can kind of pinch the flank, but not going to happen. And Screwface has nowhere to go. So great stuff from Shondex. Good read off of what Jawa was able to find initially. Stop the rush before it even gets on to B. And for all intents and purposes, that's a pretty solid second anti-eco for SAD.
And obviously, it's really easy to highlight Shondex based on how those kills went. But I think the real hero there was actually Jawa with the paranoia that both round one and round two have found immense value. I mean, that time around, not the most ceremonious end, but it stalls just enough time to let, the players come through. So Shondex was only able to get there because the paranoia kind of stalled Nightblood Gaming, allowing for Shondex to get set up and spray things down. And then once again, it felt like Nightblood Gaming, they just kind of got stuck. They didn't really have that many options to go. Plenty of opportunities for SAD to be able to force the issue onto them. And it's just the spacing really working out for SAD Esports more. And that's what you expect when you bring two controllers to this. So
yeah, that is exactly where I was going to piggyback off of if you didn't get to it, which of course you did. You're brilliant. Very smart, very avid. Opening contact, good for NBG. Jerwin just trying to find an off angle, not going to work. So numbers advantage now starting to brood. Arc Rose, ooh, Razor Vine, oh, all of it destroyed. Okay, so now it's on to Shondex to see what they can do, just essentially holding the choke point behind the smoke. A little bit of respect given here for Nightblood. Oh, good follow-up though. The paint shells and C's working out perfectly for Nightblood. And now it's really just on to Jawa with the Bucky. Right weapon for the job. But instead, we watch Bao with the 1v1 on the flank. And now it's on to Welly with the Sheriff. Would they get any contact? Likely not. And yeah, this will just be down to, is this pinch going to turn into anything?
And at least Bao does have the rifle immediately taken out by Smiley here. So at this point, if you are Welly, you hope for one, but you don't get any. And so it's a nice clean round from Nightblood Gaming to go through there. I mean, they had the weapon advantage, good execute coming across the board. SAD Esports just not able to really do anything against that overwhelming pressure. But this is going to be the one that is going to be really interesting. Note just kind of lighting up the kill feed yet again. Excellent util combo to just flush out Shondex, make sure there's not going to be any of those hero plays again coming out from that Vise. And yeah, there's just no additional utility from SAD to really stall things out, which once again, the composition is really built at creating those gaps in Nightblood Gaming's attack. And well, he already spamming things through. Note takes a bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough to secure any kills here, as it's enough to actually force Nightblood Gaming to back out of the site because they're no longer confident pushing into that Odin.
Wise choice, I'd say.
Scary.
It is. It do go burr, to bring back an old 2020 meme. But the thing about it is, outside of the little bit of pressure established by seeing the weapons in play, the NBG are still showing a little force. That Prowler does scout a bit of information. So under a minute to play, and with the Vice Wall for the offense down to block off an A rotation, you would assume this would be an execute to C, but no commitment really from either side yet in terms of what they want to do.
A lot of commitment of utility being traded back and forth, and this is what I was worried about. Nightblood Gaming, they kind of dump everything that they have. SAD Esports just respond with a bit of utility on their own. But now we see the rotation come around.
And that wasn't really a worth trade in terms of util for util, especially with Shondex still very healthy behind two Razors and an Arc Rose here and the wall. And you can see it's going to be one of those 3-2-1 goes. But the Razor Vine's in the way, and Shondex and Welly just tee off on it. So yeah, I think you call that one well there, Marks. It's just down to NBG trying to say, hey, look at us. We're throwing the kitchen sink at C. We're going to go A instead. And they're just like, we don't care. We got all of our stuff here.
It's one of those awkward moments, right? Like the util that SAD are using to really just deny entry in onto the site. It's sure you'd lose a little bit, but it's not at the end of the day like, oh no, now we don't have anything and the other site's going to be completely open. It's just simply not the case with how these controllers are built. And so Nightblood Gaming, like, especially if you invest all of what your kit has into moving in on to one of those sites, if you call an audible and decide to go somewhere else, it's going to be a lot more painful because you're walking into another set of utility. SAD Esports have just been doing a fantastic job at hurting Nightblood Gaming to run to these other sites. They knock on the door of C. No, you're not welcome here. You go on to A. Well, guess what? You're going to have a terrible time and you're against the clock. So excellent util usage coming out from SAD.
Important round here early on for Nightblood to see if they can get something going on the offensive side. And once more, it's just a little utility feel out that doesn't really push the defense and make many adjustments. And yeah, that's just too shallow of a shoulder from Son of Cars. So no worries there for Bao. Numbers advantage coming through. Screwface is going to try to make a little bit of noise. If you can find one, it would be incredible for the effort here. Sees the shoulder of one, but does not expect Jerwin. Yeah, and this has not been a good start to the half here for Nightblood.
And like, look, all the doors are closing on their faces there, and they don't even have any utility. It's just blind or dry peaks that results in that. And Note gets caught too. It's just not looking good.
Not much going well right now for Nightblood. And like, we're using double initiator to try to fool SAD Esports and trying to, instead of overwhelm them, which I think is maybe part of the problem. This round not over yet though. 3v5, we will have a post plan, or we should, pending Smiley commits. And that means we're going to have, well, eventually a smoke from Noted. You've got the Arc Rose for Kumi and two flashes to try to hold off the 5-man Fortress at.
See how this retake is going to go. Once again, plenty of utility to kind of play off of here. Note in a great position, just tucked away into the back line. And now SAD Esports, they're moving in one at a time.
Those smokes will fade, and now the action should be on. Smiley hoping for contact from the front first. Fault line re-earned. Connects onto one, up and over. Jerwin gets his first. But Noted responds, gives an opportunity here for Kumi, but the late flank eventually comes into play. Bao, no problem finding Kumi from behind. And SAD Esports, a very, very strong defensive start. 4-1 up, and A bit of a broken bye for NBG coming up next.
Yeah, it's tough coming through from Nightblood Gaming. I'm almost wondering at what point do you just decide to go for more of a default? You know that these util combos are going to be getting pushed out and punishing you. Just try and prod the bear a little bit and then back off of it. Get all of it out very early into that round, because then you're just going to have a much easier time being able to walk in. This last round, I don't want to necessarily call it a disaster, because we do see Nightblood Gaming able to get that spike down and they line themselves up to make sure that they're effectively trading. But still, like, sending Sunakar to dry peak B, not exactly the best way to kind of go there. You've got that double initiator to try and support those explosive plays. And like you said, I think that we need to see it be a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more explosive, and just kind of commit to going onto one of these sites to overwhelm the players that are actually holding it. Not get scared when you see a couple of things explode in your face. Wait it out and then re-engage.
Yeah, I hard agree with that. Like, it is just, I think it's too much cuteness. Like, flood it with all this executable utility that you've got. Isolate with numbers. I mean, it's a 3-site map. We all know that. But like you said, you've got the natural ability to keep the defense split to where you're always going to have numbers, even if you can only commit 4. But right now, it does feel a little cutesy, trying to like spend utility to fake or spend utility deep on the site to isolate when the person in the site is still fine. Like, it's just a lot of stuff that doesn't feel, I don't know, as normal as you'd expect for double initiator. This time from the shadows, could this be committed to into the dark cover over towards stairs? And now we're going to get a quick burst hit where the pressure's on Welly, who only has the Odin. Could still sing a song, though, especially with the decay in play. Yeah, well done. That's good first blood.
And now the flood in should be nice and easy. A little bit of information spotted out here, but Ultimate ready to go if SAD Esports are going to be pushing through. He's keeping Note honest in the midst of all of it, and yeah, here we go.
That's going to affect just about everybody as well. So opportunity here. Counter flashes are up. Screwface able to find the first. And honestly, talking about just not really fully committing, SAD is waiting for Jawa down low. Everyone's going to get their weapons back here. Can be able to find one. Sunakar with that collected Odin gets the trade. Outlaw connection for Gerwin. Does have a showstopper, but instead tried to trust the rifle. Doesn't work out, and Nightblood able to get back on the board.
And a much better look for them that round. Like, we see the proper initiation, we see the proper flood through, and no taking a lot of space there, doesn't get kind of called out. It's nice and easy for them to walk through. And one thing I'm noticing from SAD Esports on this defense, one of the things that a lot of these teams expect is just the util dump outside of A, right? Like, you expect it, you walk through, the barriers going down, and then it's just explosions on mollies, on all sorts of crazy things happening. But SAD really aren't utilizing that all too often, which opens the door for Nightblood Gaming to be able to move through. Instead, it is just kind of Welly spraying things down, which doesn't necessarily guarantee a kill or any information at all. And so that is a potential avenue for Nightblood Gaming to get a little bit more of this map control before they decide to commit to one of these sites.
Look how reserved Nightblood are playing in the back of their spawn. Again, I'm fine with this in terms of we're not going to give away any early information, then we'll just hit you a bit more again. Surprised in nature, but Noted's just playing with sound cues against Welly, forces another Prowler. That'll be all the information that Welly will need. So the focus here could start to fade away as the hit is on over towards C. Gerwin eventually able to collect on the Noted, so now it has to be this hit from the front. Showstopper's out. That's sent all the way to the backside of the site. I don't even know if that connects for any damage on that player in the back. The shot that's able to get down to about 50 HP. Bow connects before the Steel Garden lands. Kumi a bit whiffy on the shots through Waterfall, so now it's just down to can you actually win your gunfights at the backside of the site, and the answer is no.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, SAD just look way better on this map at the moment, at least from the defensive side.
Like, okay, so Shift, here are some of the questions that I've got on that actual execute there. And I don't mean to be too harsh on Nightblood Gaming, because given their composition, this is a pretty difficult way to play Lotus. But Note on the other side of the map, trying to take that 1v1 against Welly, and well, that means that there's no smokes going to be going on the initiation onto C. It's a little bit strange for them to try and force Note all the way over onto A when the plan was to go in onto C. And then I'm taking a look at the map, the mini map, and I'm seeing all the utility coming through there. Like, there was no opportunity really for Nightblood Gaming to get that without Sad being able to at least trade a couple. And it works out perfectly once again, just off of some angles and util coming out from Sad Esports.
There we go, a bit of aggression from Sad Esports, really trying to put the pedal to the metal against a limited purchase for Nightblood, and it's working beautifully. Gumi seen on the corner. Whoa, little dance here from Jerwin. And that will do it. Very clean, very comfortable, and that was a haymaker right there from Sad Esports, just saying, we're not even gonna let you get anything going this round. We're just gonna go ahead and take the fight to you, knowing you're on limited purchase, and essentially just beat the snot out of you.
Yeah, like, you see the rocket come out from Jerwin. Showstopper flying across there, and Smiley is just like, I mean, if I get a kill, that would be kind of nice, but I'm just going to ride this explosion out here. Doesn't even move, and just kaboom, the spike goes down, and then a little bit of over-aggression coming through from Jerwin, but it doesn't matter because Sad are firing on all cylinders. We've got 3 ultimates on their side, 2 ultimates on Nightblood Gaming, specifically the Rolling Thunder alongside the Nightfall, so a couple of really good tools to get utilized, as we will be seeing that pit get deployed outside of A and clog things up, making it a bit more difficult to push into mid if they want to try that avenue.
Well, once more, we find ourselves about halfway through this round, and Nightblood have not shown us really much in terms of their intentions. From the shadows to clear off C Mound for Sad Esports. That will actually allow Jerwin to take the angle at the operator and then have Jawa moving back over to help in the middle of the map. Start cover over towards Tree as the door swings around. But Nightblood, once again, not giving away anything. Now looking to rewrap back, and Jerwin is happily waiting. Trying to avoid the Prowler. Nope, has to hit it. Loses the angle for a moment, but is able to regain it, and now you take your focus for Nightblood into B.
Oh. Ultimate's coming through, coming right back from Welly.
30 seconds
That's
left.
aggressive. Trades are decent here as the integrity of the pit is good. Smiley gonna be able to get this plant off. Good paint shells right on top of him though. Forces him out, damages in, but noted. Now has to essentially just keep the head on a swivel, try to 1v multiple this, and it's just not gonna work. And yeah, dude, it's just the Rolling Thunder and the Nightfall spent in the same location. It really doesn't dissuade Sad Esports from being able to contest that hit, and it's just not good enough for a double execution, double initiator for Nightblood.
Yeah, like you see the ultimates come through for Nightblood, and immediately Welly just fires one right back, and it's just like terror trails on that B site, just completely littering the ground. And it's so scrappy on their way in, but like, look at that, like in the midst of it, the pit as well finding absolute massive value. Joa just kind of going through the smoke, finding the timing there. Like, Sad Esports are very clearly in the driver's seat of how this map has been going, and the Nightblood Gaming, like, they've got 3 more rounds really to try and pull this one back, at least make it somewhat of a winnable scenario. Excellent little alley-oop there from Bao to add that additional smoke pressure, but Jerwin holding it down against the rest of Nightblood Gaming.
Oh, opening shot for Jerwin is good. Screwface responds, leaving Jerwin distant to smoke with a shorty, and somehow gets one, gets away. May be able to reset, but help is not allowed to get back into the site as Noted connects again, but the no-scope lands, and that's 3 for Jerwin. Once more, Nightblood. An opportunity to still play off some angles. Screwface takes advantage of Shondex looking the wrong direction, and then follows up onto Welly. That's how they get their 4th? Seriously?
It's so unreal, given the ultimate just high IQ play coming through from Jerwin on the site. Like you said, gets one with the shorty, pulls out the operator, goes for a no-scope, still has 1 bullet left in the shorty, ready to fight, just playing off of that single dark cover. And yet still, it's just Screwface hanging out there. Sheriff in hand, good for it, shuts it down before it even begins. But unreal stuff kind of coming through from Nightblood Gaming to really just hold this one back. They find themselves at 3. 2 more rounds to really try and tear that one back, but Jerwin immediately finding a kill onto Note.
Yeah, that's a no-nonsense peek right there from Jerwin. Joa behind that, just establishing that this is our ground to hold on to. And a showstopper just to get a little bit forward. Won't connect with anything. Fault line and the Prowler will make sure of it, but it puts immediate pressure on Nightblood. They have to respond with some quick actions of their own. Viceball will stop them at B. Razorvine behind that. Razorvine at C. It's just such a good control of space here from Sad. They will walk on in. Razorvine, I don't know if that, yeah, it did stay in play. So it does give the defense a chance to collect, but the Viceball will stop the flank at A, and Kumi will have some information here, but can't connect. And Sad Esports with the numbers.
Like, look at this, Nightblood Gaming, they're not sure really where they want to commit on. They're chasing kills right now, so gonna be moving things forward, at least selling the fake. This is kind of a high stakes thing right here. Sonikar at least finds one, but look, that's gonna be really bad. Sherwin finds the spike, and suddenly this round is not looking good for Nightblood.
Yeah, they're stuck. There's nowhere to go, and that will be 8 for Sad Esports. It looked like initially there was gonna be an opportunity for NBG with a lot of space through B over to C to maybe get on in, but that's the power of the Vice defensive setup in that particular round. Showstopper from Jerwin completely clears it, also forces the head of NBG, who, well, honestly, they turn a corner and they say, nope, don't want to go this way. Smiley gets caught. I don't know. I mean, that's just, brother, everyone else went. Doesn't make much of a difference. There wasn't really anywhere to go after that.
Yeah, and once again, like, I have so many questions about why they decided to not take the spike with them and leave them isolated, understanding that Sad Esports are really controlling the map so well. So that round just kind of goes to the wayside. Last round and a half now.
Purchase is less than stellar. Jerwin still at the operator is in the right spot. Just comes down to if Nightblood can come around the corner. Hello? Hello? A little windy outside of A-Long. Jerwin able to get essentially 3 different chances at that gunfight and then eventually connects. So numbers to Sad Esports. You still have the op in play on the cross. You still have an Odin for Screwface, though. He's just trying to get some damage out, but honestly, if you're Nightblood, you don't really have anywhere to go here.
Oh, feeling boxed in yet again. The shot goes a little bit wide, and finally it will be going through, but Bao finds a kill early.
Yeah. Quick action on that flank. Again, just never allowing Nightblood Gaming to feel comfortable on site. This is going to be a 9-3 half.
Enemy remaining.
Woof. Not a good first half from Nightblood. And Sad Esports is going to be looking back at map 1 being like, we were that close to possibly pulling a 2-0 here.
Switching sides.
But what an interesting half. But you know what? Like, when we talk about the resiliency of both these teams, we know Nightblood Gaming can kind of pull themselves back into it. So swapping things around, this is where we're going to be really interested to see how Nightblood Gaming kind of pull themselves back into it. But I think that this is quite a substantial lead being brought in from Sad Esports. Jerwin has just been popping off. And I imagine with this composition, Nightblood Gaming, I mean, they have to be frag forwards. They have to try and dominate a little bit more space, deny the presence of Sad Esports, and really just try and take the fights early on. With how these compositions are built, I would have imagined that Nightblood Gaming would be the ones to try and force the fights to catch their opponents off guard, but we simply just haven't really seen that happen in that first half of this map. So they need to start to make that happen on this defense. Otherwise, this is going to be a very easy road for Sad Esports to get map number 2, forcing map 3.
Looking at just how the map has gone for both these two teams over the last, well, really the last couple of weeks, the offensive side has been the stronger side for both. So not good news here for Nightblood. Essentially forcing them to have to win this pistol, you would think, to try to get this deficit a little bit tighter. And to be fair, Sad Esports will have, you would assume, a little bit more difficulty executing based on their composition. And okay, Son of Car going 1 for 1 there is not bad at all. Smiley feeling the pressure. Razor Vines are already out. And Sad Esports will take their time and reapproach, looks like, over to B.
I was going to say, in the midst of all of that kind of chaos, like, Shondex moves so far forwards and looking for Note walking through here. So the spike should be good as long as they can get Note.
And they do. Prowler to clear out more space towards C-Link.
Planted.
And Nightblood are going to need to make a decision here on how they want to play this retake. They're going to have a 3v2 on site to start, though. Dark cover will really not dissuade this too much. You still have a fault line and a flash available from Smiley. That'll be used, but Sad, the crossfire a little bit too strong. Kumi now on the other side. No, can't find much of anything. And Sad Esports take the pistol and will force Nightblood to have to make a really difficult decision here in the anti-eco.
They find themselves up to double digits so early on after that pistol round. And like, sure, the flashes from the breach really do help Nightblood Gaming when they do go for those retakes. But you see how Sad Esports set themselves up. It's kind of like using natural cover to make sure that you're playing counter flash. Like, as soon as the flash happens, they all duck away, and then they pop right back out and start shooting their pistols into the smoke, forcing Nightblood Gaming to play cautiously, and then they can't even push off of the flash. And so, essentially, like, this breach has not been finding the value that they really would have wanted.
No.
And Smiley has been having such a hard time to get things going.
Yeah, it's super true. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bao and Shondex have been popping off.
Yeah.
It is a tale of two compositions, not written by Charles Dickens.
That'd be crazy if you wrote about Valorant, you know? I foresee this game.
Yeah, just a casual late 1900s shout out to Valorant. But this is going to be one of those rounds where Nightblood are just going to have to hope a couple of shots hit. Sudakar in particular, though, if you could catch one here and get a weapon, maybe gives you a little bit of pressure on the extremities of the map. There's the check. The shoulder's been seen. No stone unturned right now for Sad. And that's going to be all horses off to the races down to A.
And Screwface, though, holding this angle, might be able to kind of get one headshot, not able to do so. So Sad should be able to dominate in onto the site, and then we get to see a lot of this utility really start to make things annoying. Only person is Smiley in the back who could find it timing.
Fault line will land, but there's no ability to follow up. Yeah, we're tapping away. A little bit of shooting practice right now for Jerwin, although Noted's able to respond. Sad, trying to play up and nice shots from Welly. Transfers for a double headshot. And yeah, that will put any hope of the retake pretty much out of question. Sad Esports now on to an 11-3 tally, and I imagine at this point, Nightblood Gaming are starting to find conversations about what are we going to do on Ascent.
I was just about to say, like, at what point are you just gotta, like, listen, we just gotta tank this through, maybe hurt the Sad Esports mentality just a bit, but focus our sights on to Ascent, because, well, yes, this will be the buy-up round rifle-wise. Like, Nightblood Gaming just simply have not been able to get much going at all. Even that, like, it's just punishment after punishment after punishment being dished out from Sad Esports. And really, that Viper has just been getting so much more value between the toxic screen, making sure that it escorts the rest of the squad to take all that space onto A and deny information, down to the Molly, the snakebite, that's been very effective at zoning things out. So we're seeing, as soon as the spike goes down, all that util comes through. It's looking great from Sad.
That it is, but there is full purchase here for Nightblood. Whereas the bonus for Sad Esports is really just one-tap weapons. A little bit of noise being created by Well. He's done well, again, to kind of stretch the map on both sides of the spike to this point. Noted, will find, I'll say a little bit of time to work his way past the boom bot, but not the case. Jerwin gets credit for 2. Smiley isolated as Jerwin's now potentially on for the ace 3 in a row. And holding the front line as Joel will planted. And yeah, the energy in this map has gone to the wayside if this bonus comes through, which it looks pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't know how German was able to get one with the boom bot there. I thought that the timing was just perfect to get the seep through, but not going to be the case. Kumi in a 1v2 now might be doable if some heroics come through.
Well, the problem is checking this crossfire through the dark cover. And as soon as this fades, that's about what you would expect. A couple of tags will come through, but again, even if you were to pull that 1v3 off, the path would have been an arduous one. So 12-3 the count. Purchase for Nightblood is less than comfortable. Meanwhile, for Sad Esports, they've got everything they can want, and they're close to alts. Yeesh.
it's like all the cards are coming up great for SAD Esports, where on Nightblood Gaming side, they're struggling really to just try and take it. The only times they've really gotten a foot in the door is when they have these like deathmatch opportunities where there's just no util being thrown in, but it's just a tough one. And so, you know, maybe we just take a look and figure out how we can really deal with the set, because it's going to be a somewhat of a budget buy coming across from Nightblood Gaming. We do see 2 Vandals, 2 Guardians, Son of Kar only really having that Sheriff in hand. But when we look at that duelist head-to-head, I mean, Son of Kar has simply just not held a stick up at Jerwin. Jerwin has been dominating this series thus far. Even in the first map, Jerwin was popping off. And when this raise is kind of firing in all cylinders, it's looking really clean from Jerwin to help SAD Esports win a lot of these rounds very swiftly.
Well, Bao, Kumi, possible point of contact here. Footsteps heard by Kumi. Poison Cloud comes through. Good arc rose flash behind that. Showstopper to counter. Lots of damage comes through, and Kumi almost finds the perfect timing, but Bao saves a life. And that will be enough for SAD Esports to get the plant down. They're actually going to give this to Bao for the Viper's Pit to put this over the finish line. You've got Shondex on the flank. And for NBG, they better go quick, because otherwise this could get messy quickly.
Oh, Jerwin, first up, note, immediately finding the headshot here. Shondex has to hurry.
Thing is, it's going to take time to clear out this Viper's Pit. Paranoia comes through, allows Son of Kar to play forward. Bao trying to hold the angle. Good for one. Has to double check on where the spike is. That's where he gets overwhelmed. Now it's just out of Shondex. Does he get an angle on where this plant is actually at? Sure does. But what? Completely whiffs. And Screwface eventually able to punish. Nightblood keep the map alive.
Oh no, I had it written down too. I was so excited to see the Shondex flank finally come through. Like, we haven't seen Shondex go on those flanks and have that kind of pop-off potential on the previous map. And I was like, you know, this is gonna be the one. And instead, like, it's just Nightblood Gaming hit the accelerator and they just flood into the pit. Something I guess you don't expect if you are SAD Esports, but a great round for Nightblood, given the fact that they force out the Showstopper, force out the Viper's Pit, stabilize their economy, keep a foot in the door. Once again, do a little bit more mental damage to SAD Esports. Really make Shondex sit in that whiff and kind of accept how that went. But still, they do need to get 8 rounds to get overtime.
Nightblood showing some early utility pressure through A-Long. And a couple of peeks from Kumi. Oh, shut up. I mean, that's just one of those that you hate to see if you're a Nightblood fan. So free C-Site will come through. Maybe an opportunity for Son of Kar to get aggressive through mid, but Bao is watching this on a pretty cruddy angle. Screwface trying to maybe follow up for something through Waterfall, but this dark cover is going to fade. Nightfall is out for the offense. Everything looking good for SAD, and the flank still available. Shadows traveling. Steel guard now. That'll make life difficult. And yeah, Jerwin holding the corner. No problem. Actually, Jerwin finds the one hopping into sight, so now he's looking to put the final punch. But Shondex able to hit on the long-sided flank, so quickly we were there, quickly we weren't. SAD Esports, very, very convincing on both sides of the spike here on Lotus for a map 3 affair.
A massive difference coming in from SAD Esports against Nightblood Gaming on Lotus. I mean, obviously it's so easy to just point at the compositional difference, bringing in the Breach versus the Viper here. Really, the Viper finding so much more value compared to the Breach. Smiley not able to get anything online. But genuinely speaking,